Hi, and welcome to Dramatic Knits. My name is Steve, also known as Dramatic Knits, and today is Monday, December 21st, 2015. This is episode 236. If you're a returning viewer, thanks for coming back one more week, and if you're new, hopefully you enjoyed today's show, and you'll come back in the future. As you can see, Callie is not with me once again this week, but she is sick. She has the flu currently. If it's not one thing, it's the other, the poor girl. So she actually asked me to hold off on recording today to see if she could feel well enough to come and record. She misses you guys so much, but she still was not feeling well. So she wanted to tell you guys she misses you, and that to send her gratitude to everyone who sent her a private message on Ravelry, or, hot linked her in one of the threads saying she hopes, that you guys hope that she feels better. She may not have been able to get back to everybody at this point. I know she is still, very busy on top of being sick, so she was not feeling well for a good deal. So she's got the flu and it's not going so well. So, I told her to focus on getting better and whatnot. So you can see it's a little bit later in the day. It's starting to get dark. It'll most definitely be dark by the time I finish recording today, but I wanted to make sure that I got a recording in for you guys since I didn't record yesterday because I was out of town for a holiday gathering. So let's do a quick week in review, shall we? I taught all week, and it was finals week at school. I am officially now on holiday break, so I have the next 2 weeks off. It couldn't have came at a better time, let me tell you. I needed this break. So hopefully I'll be able to regroup physically and mentally over the next 2 weeks before going into second semester. So it wasn't too taxing of a week on me in terms of, lesson planning and things like that. But it was a lot of grading. I was finishing up grading. I had essays, a full round of essays I had to grade Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday, they did the essay portion of their exam, so I had to grade those very quickly. And then Thursday and Friday were the multiple choice sections of their exams. And we had to have grades submitted before we left on Friday. So the kids actually had half days on Thursday and Friday, so the afternoons, this ain't my first rodeo, right? So this is my 7th year of teaching high school English for those of you who are new. So, I've kind of got the grading process down pretty decent, so I'm usually on top of my grades. So that wasn't too big of an issue, but what else happened? Tuesday night, I had a dentist appointment. I actually got my teeth bleached, so they are a little bit whiter. They're probably not as white as I would have preferred, but they actually make you sign off on something before you get it done. Like, we can't guarantee results. So I'm still happy with it. I was really kind of nervous about a lot of different things. I'm a big wuss when it comes to a lot of things, but it wasn't that bad. So that was that. I posted a picture to Instagram. I took a selfie while in the chair with this, with the garden and the light on and all that stuff. So I'm not usually one who does a whole lot of indulging anymore in personal appearance things, but as you guys know, I've been open with you guys for the past couple months about it. Andy and I quit smoking 4 months ago, and about a week now. Yeah, 4 months and a week and a little some. Anyway, and so doing the teeth bleaching was kind of a gift to myself for following through. So it's been a little hard this week. There's been some stress and other things, and it's been hard for Andy and I. We've both wanted to break down, but we've stayed strong. And it's nice that we both quit and we have that dynamic, because we kind of have this, like, I'm not going to be the first one to break down type of thing. So neither of us wants to be the first one to break down. So then we just get over any urges that we have. So but then Friday after finals, I drove home, and then we packed up the car, and Andy had came and brought me lunch on Friday, for myself and a coworker, because he was in town dropping off the dogs at the vet, because we kenneled our dogs, and we headed back to Indiana to his mom's house for her side of the family's Christmas gathering. So We got there late Friday and pretty much went to bed. I was exhausted. And Saturday we got up and chit-chatted, and then went to see his dad, and went and had lunch with him. Gave his dad and grandma some hand-knit items that I made this year, and they appreciated it. And then we did a little bit of shopping, not much. Got some new house shoes. That's exciting. And then we came back and we had dinner and gifts with the niece and nephew and Andy's brother and sister-in-law. So that went well. The niece is 2 years, going through the terrible twos, so there were some tears and understanding of, not every present's yours. And our nephew was going through that a little bit too. But they seem to enjoy their toys and the clothes fit and all that fun stuff. So Sunday we got up and his mom and Andy actually made biscuits and gravy, and then they woke me up because I was sleeping. I sleep down in their basement, and there's like no windows down there, so it's pitch black and I never know what time it is. But anyway, so had breakfast and just relaxed and talked with his mom and whatnot. And then about noon, the family, they have a huge family compared to mine, came over, and it still was only about half the amount of people. So we stayed, had a little bit of food, and we were one of the first ones to leave. We didn't stay very long for the actual family gathering because we wanted to get back at a decent time. So we drove back, stopped and looked at mattresses in Bloomington, and decided that we just can't swing that much money for something that we want at this point. And then had some dinner last night. Got myself some more Red Robin. Yeah, I may have went to Red Robin the week before with Mrs. Shue and Yarn Hoarder and Callie and a few other people. And I went again because I wanted it. So, and it was delicious. So anyway, that's pretty much been my week. But I am really super excited to be on break. Yes, I'm going to be doing a lot of stuff for the business, but I'm hoping to make some significant progress in my crafting. And I did pretty well last week too, even for it being finals. So let's transfer into what's taking about. I have 2 things that are finished. Unfortunately, I cannot show you either one physically in person because they were gifts for the family members that we went and visited. And I think I might be cutting back a little bit on the family knitting, but it is what it is. So the first thing that I finished were the Bah Humbug socks. I knit these out of Mint Rain hand-dyed yarns in her sport sock in the Bah Humbug colorway on size 2 US, which is a 2.75 millimeter needle. Yep. And so I did take pictures of them before we wrapped them. So that's how they turned out, and his mom really liked them. She, in fact, put them on immediately after opening them. So she said they fit her really well. So the second thing I finished was the Carolyn hat. This was the second one I knit, and this is by Delusional Knitter Designs. I used Leading Men Fiber Arts Callback or Sport Weight base in the Avery colorway on a size 3 US 3.25 millimeters. So as you had seen in previous weeks, if you've watched, I did a toddler size for our niece, who's 2, and then I did a matching hat for her mom in the adult version. And so here's a picture of that. So I was really happy with the way they came out. Unfortunately, Avery, who the yarn was named after, who's 2, really didn't want to put on a hat when they opened them. And Mom didn't really want to put on a hat either. So I rushed to get them done and got them done. And we'll just leave it at that. But we'll see if they get anywhere. I hope they do, but it is what it is. So those are the 2 things that I finished this week. A hat and a pair of socks. Not too bad. So what's performing this week? What am I working on? The first thing is Portage by Melissa Shishwari. I did not work on this a whole lot. I'm knitting this out of Elizabeth Lavold Silky Wool in color number 65, which is spruce. It's like a really dark blue. My lighting sucks because it's the nighttime here. And again, I'm still working on the garter band. I did measure. I'm at 4 inches. No, 5? I think I'm at 5 inches. I think. Now I really want to know. I just measured it. I'm like, yeah, I'm at 5. So I got another inch to go of the garter. But I think I only worked on it once, maybe twice, and, you know, I can do like 2 or 3 rows, in all honesty, in an episode of House of Cards. So there's the front. You can see the garter band around the neckline and the fronts. And again, it's been a while since you've seen the textured backside. So I'm knitting this on sizes 5, 6, and 7 US. And I don't really want to think about the millimeters right now, but I'm sure you know what those are. The second thing I'm working on is the Mix It Up by Jana Huck. This is a commission knit, my final commission knit for the local alpaca farm. I'm using mill spun fingering weight from them. One color is natural. The other one we've dyed in our blue steel colorway. And it's on a size 3 US, which is a 3.25 millimeter needle. And I worked on this the whole time I was in Indiana and driving to and from Indiana. And I'm in the middle of a row. Sorry. So you can see all these stitches on all this needle. This is a 60-inch cord. It's going to be very long. But I just did the increase row for the blue, and then I will do an increase row for the natural. And then I've got to do 3 sections of these. So 3 sections each of the white and the blue in reverse. And then I do some larger swaths of color full length at the end. So the end is in sight. It's just going to take a while, and I need to, I think, take smaller bites, so to speak, while working on it. Because if I sit and work on it for too long, I'm just like, ugh. And it's a lot of yarn and excess knitting fabric management on that needle of pushing the stitches around and all that jazz. So it just gets to be a little tedious and annoying. So the next thing that I cast on this morning is the Miss Wiss by Romy Hill. I'm using Knit Picks palette in the J colorway and Leading Men Fiber Arts Show Stealer in a Director's Interpretation, which is a one-of-a-kind colorway. I'm using sizes 3 and 4 US, which is a 3.25 and a 3.5 millimeter. And I got through the first chart. So here's the pattern, or what the pattern looks like. I'm doing the medium, the smaller one, because that's what I have the yardage for. But you can see there's a main color with lace, and then you bring in a second color and do some other things with it at the bottom. So you actually start here at the bottom point of the main color and go up, and then you work 2 sides separately. So I just got a little bit going, and there's noops in this, which is awfully fun. The first one was a little distracting, but then the second 2 weren't too bad. So here's the Knit Picks palette in the J. I'm just working on it. Just got a little bit done this morning while watching the Yarnivore podcast. And there's that. So that's going. I'm doing this for the SSK, which stands for the Super Summer Knit Together Knit Along. And that's the SSK is a retreat hosted by the Knit Girls, which is another video podcast in Nashville, Tennessee. And they're doing a Knit Along, and that for any Romy Hill pattern, since Romy is one of the teachers at the retreat, and that ends at the end of January. So I'm hoping I can get some good progress on that while I'm on break. Excuse me while I take a drink. So, since I finished the Bah Humbug socks, I needed to cast on some new self-striping socks. And I used my random number generator and went through my stash until I kept generating numbers until I found or came across a self-striping skein. And here it came across Knitterly Things Vesper sock yarn in the Sham Rockin' colorway. which actually kind of works because by the time these get done, they'll be done in time for St. Patty's Day, hopefully. And I knit some St. Patty's Day yarn a couple years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, out of Vesper, a different colorway. Anyway, I just finished the ribbing. I work on this at school if I've got time during my planning, and I also work on it when I'm reskinning yarn, which I've got a lot of yarn to reskin because Andy was on vacation last week and went hog wild with dyeing and whatnot. So just finished the ribbing. I did go down. This is on a size 1 US, which is a 2.25 millimeter, and hopefully I'll get a denser fabric, especially with this is some vintage Knitterly things before she switched up bases, so it is a lighter fingering weight. Excuse me, it's dry in here. My nose is dry. The last thing I thought I'd quickly show you is my heavier weight Granny Square blanket. It's been a while since I've shown you this, and I do believe I introduced a new colorway since you've seen it last, or a new color. So I think I've introduced a new color downstairs on my fingering weight version. I've got 2 versions going, but I forgot to grab it, so you'll see it eventually. But this is my DK and heavier weight version, and I guess it should technically go this way. And I just threw in a little bit of leftover from my sweater, which is that I knit last year or this year, which was some Barocco Remix in a cream color. I'm pulling out stitches. So you can see here, I just joined that in. It's just a little bitty baby skein of that, which will be thrown in. This last one was some vintage Deep Sea, which looks a little bit more tonal and variegated from Lady Men Fiber Arts on our DK weight. So that's what it's looking like. It's going to be a mishmash blanket, and I'm okay with that. So I just thought I'd quickly show you that. And I don't really work on that a whole lot unless I finish a major section, like a pattern repeat on something, and I'm watching a podcast up here and I've got 10 minutes left on the podcast. I'll pick that up instead of starting, a new pattern repeat on something. All right, so what's in rehearsal this week? I don't really have anything planned. I'm going to try to keep the whips down and get the stuff done because I really want to finish some things and focus and make more significant progress rather than such little progress every week on a lot of different things. Behind the scenes, my spinning. I'm still spinning the Three Waters Farm Falkland in the cool soil blue sky. That's a tongue twister for me every week. Colorway, and this is all that I have left of the second 2 ounces. So I'm fractally spinning this into a 2-ply. So hopefully I will have some finished yarn to show you this weekend if I get enough crafting time. Shouldn't take me too long to spin that, and then I've got to ply it, so I'll let you know about that next week. Alright, so, in the spotlight, what am I watching and reading? I haven't finished reading anything, so I'm not going to talk to you about reading. I have this week's American Horror Story Hotel to still catch up on, but we did finish Season 2 and start Season 3 last night of House of Cards. So, it was an interesting transition, and yeah, I don't know. They left you off thinking one thing at the end of Season 2, and you were completely wrong, of course, And I wonder, the main character, Kevin Spacey's character, is just a horrible human being. And I wonder why he's the protagonist and why we're okay with it. I mean, there's some bad protagonists out there. I mean, Dexter was bad. He was a serial killer, if you ever watched that show. But he had a moral code that he was fighting for. And I'm wondering, what's that thread that keeps us wanting to follow his story? And I haven't pinpointed that yet. And that may be what keeps me intrigued in the show. So I do believe we just started Season 3. There's 13 episodes per season. It's a Netflix original. And I do believe we heard that season 4 should be coming out in February, so that's always good. And that's pretty much all I've watched. I haven't really watched much of anything else. This week has been pretty busy and whatnot. So I wanted to mention to you guys in the Week in Review why the episode title this week is Stash Diving. So unfortunately the dogs are not up here with me. They're downstairs with Andy right now. But today I had to go to the vet and pick up the dogs, and they were, fine and everything, and we were glad to have them back in the house, because I woke up this morning thinking, boy, they're quiet, and then realized they were not here. So anyway, they were, romping around the house, this and that, and I was doing rescanning of a gradient set and whatnot, and I was doing laundry as well. I came up to fold my laundry, and Corn Dog, who's our Cairn Terrier, had found a rawhide chew toy that we had gotten them in the last week. And so he was chewing on it, and it doesn't matter what it is. When one dog has something, the other one wants it. So I went back downstairs to rescan, and I swear, for almost an hour, Ernest, our Yorkie, was sitting there just incessantly barking at him. And Corn Dog can be a bit territorial, and if Ernest tries to get something from him, he will growl and warn. And we're trying to break him of that, but especially towards us. Sometimes he'll do it towards us. And so Ernest was just barking, and finally I yelled from downstairs. I was like, Ernest, and he'd quiet down for 2 minutes, and then he'd start up again. So finally I came stomping up the stairs, and I was going to take the chew toy, and Ernest just cowers. And then I go to try to get Corn Dog and get the chew toy out of his mouth. And he literally, you can see the cubes behind me, this back corner one, he literally dives in and tries to get behind the stash. And he's done this before. And he, I go to reach in and he's growling at me, and I'm like, he better not bite me. And he's got this thing in his mouth. But I was almost worried that it was stuck in his throat the way the growl sounded. So I pull him out, and I go to grab him, and he dives into the one that's self-striping. And not only that, I must have scared him when he was growling at me, because he decided to kind of somewhat tinkle on some of the skeins. Not full on, but that scared tinkle. Oh, I was so upset. He literally dove in. He was trying to get, back there. I'm like, and if you've seen Corn Dog or seen pictures of him on Instagram, he's a chunky boy for a Cairn Terrier. Oh, I mean, it was funny after the fact, but it was not funny when I was dealing with it. So, needless to say, I was a bit upset with that. He always goes after the self-striping. Always. Always. He's got good taste, I'll give him that. Anyway, so let's go into a round of applause. First of all, let me tell you that I had to draw a new winner for the My Heads in a Whirl hat pattern by Susan Leviton. We pulled for this over a month ago, and there was 2 copies. One person claimed their copy. One person did not claim it within a month. So I redrew. We had 14 entries in that, and I redrew again. And the second winner is number 11, who is Crazy Knitting Fool, and that's Kristen from Rochester Hills, Michigan. So Kristen, please email me Dramatic Knits on Ravelry and let me know that you're aware that you've won, and then I will email Susan and she will gift you the pattern. If I do not hear from you within a month, I will redraw, and at that point the prize will go on to the next person. So Kristen, you have until January 21st to claim your hat pattern. All right, we had a book review last week. I reviewed Modern Lopi by Lars Rains, and it's a self-published book, and they were generous enough to give us a copy to give away. And so I had a thread open. I closed that before recording, and I pulled a winner, and the winner was number 14, who is Spin Knit Love, and that's Ingrid from Crystal Lake, Illinois. So congratulations, Ingrid. And Ingrid said she would knit Hilder first. So Ingrid, you have a month again to claim your prize before another person will be drawn. And please email me and let me know that you're aware that you've won, and I will email my contact person and they will gift you a copy of the book. So thank you to everybody who entered. I do want to remind you that Mint Rain Hand-Dyed Yarns has generously given us a coupon code for 10% off your entire order with them through the end of the year. And you can use the coupon code DramaticKnits10. Dramatic Knits is all in caps, one word, and then 10. And that'll get you 10% off good until December 31st. So thank you, Katie, again, for giving us that generous coupon code. We do have a toy knit-along going on right now, and unfortunately, this is Callie's thing. She had big plans, and she has just been down for the count lately. But you guys have been bringing in your A game, and there's been cute little stuffies and toys being entered into the knit-along every single day. So I do want to tell you that if you are knitting toys for the holidays or for any reason, or specifically for our knit-along, you can enter in our Ravelry group, which is Dramatic Knits, one word, video podcast group. We have 2 threads. We have a chatter thread, which is always fun to hear what people are thinking, questions, things like that. And then we have a finished object thread, which is just pictures, no chatter, which we will be pulling for prizes. Again, I haven't pulled prizes. I'll probably pull them when we sit down to pull the winners. So you don't really know what you're playing for, but you're playing for some prizes. The rules of the toy knit-along is that it must have been cast on or after November 1st, 2015, and the finished object must have been completed on or before December 31st, 2015. The first recording of the new year, we will pull for winners. We'll use a random number generator. You must be a member of the group, and you must post a picture of your finished object to the appropriate thread in order to be eligible to win. If you use any base of Leading Men Fiber Arts in any part of your toy, you can post your finished object picture twice to get 2 entries into the drawing. Whatever you knit must be classified as a stuffy or toy, or must be clearly visible as a toy if you're using your own pattern. So I think that pretty much covers that. So get those entries in there. If you knit something in between those time frames and you haven't posted it, you can always go back and post them now. No matter what you finish in the month of December, I encourage you to enter it into the December 2015 Race to the Finished Object contest. We have 2 wonderful prizes. The first prize is a skein of Mint Rain Hand-Dyed Yarns in her striped sock in the Depths of Space colorway. And the second prize is a pattern from our featured designer, who is Megan Sanders. And you can find links to both the pattern store and the Mint Rain Hand-Dyed Yarns on our show notes, which can be found at DramaticKnits.com. The rules for the Race to the Finished Object contest is anything you finish in said month, you can post to the thread, FO thread, pictures only, no chatter. You must be a member of the group. Doesn't matter what yarn you used, you only get 1 entry per finished object. It doesn't have to be started in that month, but it must be finished in that month. And 1 post per finished object. So, I think that's everything I need to cover in the general stuff. So, we're going to move on to Center Stage, all things Leading Men Fiber Arts. If you are not interested in what's going on with the business, then I will say goodbye here, and I will see you next week. I will record, Christmas is on Friday, so I'll probably record on Sunday. Tell you about our family gatherings and things of that nature. So if you are leaving me now, I wish you the warmest of holidays. And if you don't celebrate Christmas, enjoy Friday. I know it's going to be, for here in Central Illinois, I heard on the radio today, the warmest Christmas week in history. So it was 57 today. Surprising for us. But anyway, let's move into Center Stage and talk about Leading Men Fiber Arts. The first thing I want to tell you about is a new product that we're, well, not new, a new set that we're going to be premiering in the beginning of the new year. Andy actually had a really good idea. As you know, this past year we have been introducing a new colorway every month. And we did have to take 2 months off due to shows and interruptions and things like that. So this year, in 2015, we had 2 new colorways premiere, specifically for the shop, not for retreats or other things like that, or semi-solids. but just new variegated colorways. So Andy wanted to do a year in review. And so what we are doing, we already have it dyed up, is we're going to offer several different sets for the month of January. So they will be pre-order sets, but it'll be open all month of January. So if you get some, Christmas funds or whatever, and you want to partake, or say, you've been enjoying the colorways of the month every month, but you've never, not jumped in on any of them, but you really want to, we're going to have 4 different options up for pre-order again all through the month of January. So the first 2 options are getting a set of 10 skeins. So you will get 1 full skein of each colorway of the month. Okay, and they will be on 2 of our bases, both great for socks. The first is Showstopper, which is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, 463 yards. The second set will be offered on Show Stealer, which is 80% superwash merino, 10% cashmere, 10% nylon, 435 yards. Now, if you decide to purchase into the complete full skein set, it will be at a discount, and you will get essentially 1 skein free. So if you buy 9, you get 1 free. So the Showstopper 10 full skein sets will run for $180, and the Show Stealer full skein sets will run at, I just did the math, $216. So essentially you're getting a skein free for that with those. We're still working on packaging ideas and how we're going to make that happen, but and I will say, due to the pre-orders, I will probably put on there 4 to 6 weeks leeway time, especially for those full skein sets, because we've got to dye up a lot of different colorways to get those sets together. So whether they'll take that long, I do not know, but I've got to give myself that leeway. So you can order the big large packs of 10 full skeins, or you can get some minis. I'm going to do minis on both bases, and normally our mini skein sets come with 5 mini skeins of 20 grams. Due to the fact that these are 10 different colorways, I figured I would do all 10 in 10 gram increments, so you still get the full skein of Showstopper or a full skein of Show Stealer, just in 10 mini skeins. So 10 grams, 10 mini skeins. Due to the little bit of extra work that requires us to do more mini skeins for the same yardage, the Showstopper minis year in review will be $30, and the Show Stealer minis year in review will be $34. So keep out on the lookout for that. They will be pre-orders. We'll just see how it goes. I'm excited about it. Andy's excited about it. We've had some really good ideas, but unfortunately not as much time as we'd like to plan for it. But we'll see how it goes this year and see how it goes next year. See what we want to do with it next year and how we want to modify it. We will have a January colorway of the month as well. I don't know what it'll be. We haven't started that yet. That'll be one of the things that I do over break. But pre-orders for that will be open January 1st through January 8th. And as always, they will ship out no later than the end of the month. All right. 30 minutes. Not bad. We've updated a lot this week. We're trying to restock the shop after a great and awesome Thanksgiving progressive sale, and then also doing the trunk show at Les Moutons Rouge Knittery in Bloomington, Illinois. So we're trying to fill the shop, and I'll be updating again tonight with more items. So I've got a lot to show you. I may not show it all to you because there's a lot here. And I put everything that we update, one skein or one item of everything, into a bin and then bring it up at the end of the week. But excuse me, it's that carbonated pop, I'm telling you. Anyway, so some of the unique items, we did put up 2 new gradients. Gradients are on our soliloquy base, which is 650 yards. You get 130 yards or 30 grams for each mini skein. The first one we have here is Swamp Thing. So this is Swamp Thing gradient. There are 2 in the shop currently. And the second one is Vengeance. So it goes to a really dark aubergine colorway. I really like how it goes from light into just such a dark color. There are 3 of these in the shop currently. I did put up 2 new sock blanks. This one is our Improv sock blanks are 463 yards of superwash merino, 75%, and nylon, 25% fingering weight. They're called Improv sock blanks because they're all one of a kind, never to be repeated. And this one's called Field Day, so a little more subtle of a sock blank. Really can't breathe today. Oh. So, the second one that I updated, let's see if I can find it easy enough. Of course, it's all the way down at the bottom. This one is called Feeding Frenzy, and I use idioms to name them all. My little English, make my little English heart squee. So this one's a little more sporadic. I know they're kind of fall colored and we're in winter, but it feels like fall. So those 2 sock blanks are up in the shop currently. We did put up a lot of DK weight, both on Dramaturg, which is 100% superwash merino plied, and Playbill, which is again 100% superwash merino, but it's a singles yarn. So this is that's worsted actually, so let's not put that up. This is Dramaturg in Metamorphosis. We've got some Dramaturg on Safety Dance. See how much this blows out. It is a very bright orange, Hunter fluorescent orange. I can get things to focus. There you go. That's pretty true to color. We've got Box Office, which is our worsted weight, 100% superwash merino. We got some London Fog, lovely gray, very popular in our shop. Dramaturg, we got Masquerade. Poison Apple, most popular red by far. Fox Says What? Box Office, we got some Copper Cloud. Box Office, we got some That Somewhere. Darkest Hour, which is a semi-solid black. Playbill, this is the singles DK, this is Sandcastle. So if you can see here, it is a singles structure. It will have a little bit of a halo to it. It will pill. It's the nature of singles. So, Playbill, we have Drag Queen. Showstopper, this is our sock yarn, 75-25 merino, superwash merino nylon. We have some Saffron. Into the Woods on Playbill. You Never Know on Box Office. Dreamweaver on Soliloquy, which is 100% superwash BFL, 657 yards to 150 grams. It's a lovely blue with almost a purple halo to it. On Showstopper, we have Rusted. Box Office, we have Mornings in the Backyard. This was one of the colorways this year. That'll be in the Year in Review colors. Showstopper, we have Imperial. Lovely sapphire blue. Showstopper on Don't You Know. This was our ZK colorway for the retreat this past year. I said I wasn't going to go through it all, but they're just so pretty. Kaleidoscope on Box Office. This is, again, one of the colorways for this year in the Year in Review kits. Citrus Splash on Soliloquy. A little bit lighter of an orange than Saffron. Dames at Sea on Soliloquy. Lovely navy blue. Swamp Thing on Soliloquy. Envy on Showstopper. Poison Apple on Soliloquy. Minty Fresh on Soliloquy. Lightning Bug on Soliloquy. This is a director's interpretation. It's a peachy pink colorway on Showstopper, so this is one of a kind. I think there's 2 skeins in the shop. It's kind of reminiscent of our pink lemonade colorway, but it's a little more peachy than the pink lemonade. We have some Bahama Mama on Showstopper. We have some Hoppin' Along on Showstopper. And last but not least this week, we have Popeye's Delight on Showstopper. So, you can always find the shop at leadingmenfiberarts.bigcartel.com. Check us out there, and if you have any questions, you can always email us at leadingmenfiberarts@gmail.com. You can follow us on Instagram as Leading Men Fiber Arts. You can like our Facebook page, Leading Men Fiber Arts, or you can join our Ravelry group for Leading Men Fiber Arts. The podcast itself can be found on our blog at dramaticnets.com. You can subscribe to us via iTunes. We'd appreciate a review or a star rating. You can also subscribe to us via YouTube. Please give us a thumbs up this week if you enjoyed today's show. And as always, you can join our Ravelry group, which is Dramatic Knits Video Podcast Group. So, until next week, again, I hope you have the warmest of holidays or the best of weeks this upcoming week, whichever you choose to celebrate. But until next week, I hope you knit something dramatic.